There are very few people in the world today more closely associated with innovation than Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. His story is legendary. He is the classic American entrepreneur, starting his company in the spare bedroom of his parents' house. Contrary to popular wisdom, Apple was started in a bedroom before moving to the kitchen and finally the garage where the legend was born. But Jobs pioneered the personal computer with the Apple II and Macintosh. He was forced out of the company he started and returned 11 years later in 1996. Apple was close to bankruptcy at the time, and Steve Jobs not only saved it, but in the next 10 years reinvented not one industry, but four: computing, music, telecom, and of course, entertainment. In 2010, Fortune magazine named Steve Jobs the CEO of the decade. But how does he do it? Very few journalists have identified the principles that drive Steve Jobs and his success. Well, we've done it. The Innovation Secrets of Steve Jobs reveals the 7 principles that are largely responsible for his breakthrough success. Principles that have guided him his entire career. We not only examine those driving principles, but the book shows you how other successful entrepreneurs, business owners, and business leaders use the very same principles to think differently about their companies, their services, their products, their customers. Here's a short summary. Principle 1, do what you love. In 2005, Steve Jobs told Stanford graduates the secret to success is having the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Jobs has followed his heart his entire career, and that passion, he says, has made all the difference. It's very difficult to come up with new, creative ideas that move society forward if you are not passionate about the subject. Principle 2, put a dent in the universe. Jobs attracts evangelists who share his vision and who help turn his ideas into world-changing innovations. You see, passion fuels the rocket, but vision creates the ultimate destination. You can have the most powerful rocket in the world, but if it doesn't know where it's heading, what does it matter? Principle 3, kickstart your brain. Creativity leads to innovative ideas. Well, for Steve Jobs, creativity is connecting things. He believes that a broad set of experiences expands our understanding of the human experience. A broader understanding leads to breakthroughs that others may have missed. Principle 4, sell dreams, not products. To Steve Jobs, people who buy Apple products are not consumers. They're people with hopes, dreams, ambitions. He builds products to help people achieve their dreams. He once said, some people think you got to be crazy to buy a Mac. But in that craziness, we see genius. How do you see your customers? Help them unleash their inner genius, and you'll win over their hearts and minds. Principle 5, say no to 1,000 things. Steve Jobs once said, I'm as proud of what we don't do as I am of what we do. You see, he is committed to building simple, uncluttered design, and that commitment extends beyond products, from the design of the iPod to the iPad, from the packaging of Apple's products to the functionality of the website. In Apple's world, innovation means eliminating the unnecessary, so the necessary may speak. Principle 6, create insanely great experiences. Jobs has made the Apple stores the gold standard in customer service. The Apple Store has become the world's best retailer by introducing simple innovations any business can adopt to create deeper, more emotional connections with customers. For example, there are no cashiers in an Apple store. There are experts, consultants, even geniuses, but no cashiers. Why? Because Apple is not in the business of moving metal, as they say. They're in the business of enriching lives. That's a big difference. Principle 7, master the message. Steve Jobs is the world's greatest corporate storyteller, turning product launches into an art form. You can have the most innovative idea in the world, but if you can't get people excited about it, it doesn't matter. For every idea that turns into a successful innovation, there are thousands of ideas that never gain traction because the people behind those ideas fail to tell a compelling story. The famous New York Times columnist Thomas Friedman said that what America needs now is more jobs. Steve Jobs. He meant that entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation are what's needed for America and the world to thrive in the next decade. And Steve Jobs has a lot to teach us. You know, there's a wonderful quote by Michelangelo. He said, "The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark." Steve Jobs has always aimed high, and he's taught us something along the way. It's time we listened.